this button and then say, yo, what up? How's it going, man?
Good, alright, how are you?
I am swell and well. We've got a Chaos Nejire deck, huh?
Yeah.
Hit me with the pitch. What's going on here?
So I wanted to play a deck that used Bright Future and Breakdancing. So I originally started with Carry 3, and I didn't like the deck much, so I switched to Chaos Nejire and realized she could share symbols with it and then play Rabbit Kick. So the idea is to use those 3 cards to keep your card pool really, really clean and play a really, really aggressive type of list. And then you also got cards like Quick Burn and Flipping Palm Strike, which gets you momentum for Spiral Blasts, which also flipped itself. So you get to play like this really clean lineup of like a whole bunch of moves that you sling at your opponent.
Huh. This is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I love this so much.
my brain's wrinkling. Hold on. Bright Future Breakdancing.
It's actually really consistent.
Yeah. Cheerful Uppercut with the... Wow.
Cheerful Uppercut's a bit of a new deck, because I was originally playing Nejire Wave, but I didn't like it that much in the early game, because I was always forced to block with it, and it wasn't as good late game. So I ended up switching it for Cheerful Uppercut, because this deck needs the disruption.
Okay. So what do you need my help with?
The deck usually just needs defense. Like, I'm feeling underwhelmed by cards like Nice Try, and Breakdancing's nice on defense sometimes when you're able to use your health to block with, because then it says once per turn -3 speed instead, which is a lot better. But Nice Try is -2 on a 2-diff isn't that great, because a lot of the time your play pattern looks like on turn 2, you're just trying to poke your opponent with Quick Burn or Blue Flame Palm Strike or something to try and scout options and then get the momentum for Spiral Blast next turn, or just like sculpt your stage, get your Breakdancings in and stuff so you can play the Spiral Blast and stuff later. Because you can also just, if you don't have the momentum already, you can use number 5 Pro Hero to make the weaker hands look better by going Blue Flame Palm Strike, flip it, and then play Spiral Blasts, and then kick the Blue Flame Palm Strike out, and then you play Spiral Blasts on a 6 and then back on a 5 again.
Sure.
So you just need the defense to live longer.
Yeah. No, that all makes sense to me. Get the Scoop. Pretty good flow card.
Yeah, it also makes Quick Burn always hit.
Makes Quick Burn always hit. Okay. What does this number look like?
I think it's fine, honestly. There's a whole lot of cards in here, so it's kind of tight. So it's been hard to cut down to 60, but 63 is usually fine.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is the main thing that you need from me is just more defense.
Yeah.
And then are you open to Critical Role cards?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Chaos. Let's take a peek. This is a 1-diff. So my big thing about Nice Try is it is a foundation. It's a free foundation on your turn, and it's -2 speed on their turn. Right? And that's the biggest thing to me. It's weird that this is here. That's the biggest thing to me is that it lets you check bad one time, right? So that you can commit your Nice Try and then on their turn be ready it back and then you can survive. But at the same time, Nejire already has -2 speed on every attack if we want it to. Right? Is like it's the biggest thing there.
Mm-hmm. There's also just, I haven't played the character a whole lot, so it could just be user error a little bit.
Sure, that's fair. I think that's acceptable. Hate fish. Hiding in plain sight seems like a decent way to get momentum, and it seems like a way to do different... Oh, Pretending Again is great. Yeah, it seems like a different way to not have to utilize other attacks to do it.
It's also a 2-diff, because I was playing Manifest before as a 1-of, but I never got to use it.
Sure. Yeah, so what I'm actually looking at right now is like I don't like quick burn. I think quick burn is not very good. I think blue flame palm strike is incredible. I think it's very, very good. But quick
I
burn's
feel
not very
like blue
good
flame.
because you have to guess, whereas and you have to have the attack, right? But if we have hiding in plain sight or protecting Yukina, it's just a foundation that I build in my stage and I destroy it whenever I want my momentum, right?
Yeah.
And this is add this card to your momentum and then do the thing, right? So like these ideas to grab your momentum instead of quick burn is probably just better. Like this gets to be just like a different thing, some other value for diff that we can maybe figure out, maybe even maybe it's even something along the lines of instead of quick burn, now it's like a double trouble, so you have another echo card to flip itself, representing 14 damage on a 2 mid for 14 to like make them utilize their blocks. You filter even harder through the bright futures with your bright futures and whatnot. Could even be like dimensional sphere, right?
Oh,
but it doesn't flip itself.
that's not usually a big issue because you've got like assault dust in number 5.
We'll put in a sideboard and see what's up. It's at least a sideboard card. I like it at bare minimum.
Yeah, definitely. This trip's nice too.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm in love with the tactic of the get the scoop quick burn when we could just do that same idea with a singular foundation instead, right? When these just like do that thing.
That definitely sounds better because having to get the scoop to make sure you have to have the momentum doesn't seem that nice.
Otherwise, you're guessing.
Consistent. Yeah, because everything else in the deck is usually self-sufficient.
And the other thing about like if it's protecting Yukina is this card's also a defensive trick in hand, right? Discard momentum after you block, it deals no damage, and so like the throws don't work. It's a 1 mid block. Yeah, it's a 4 check, but I don't really care because I'm keeping my card pool very clean.
Yeah.
League Handler is a low input defensive piece. Elasticity is an on block minus damage, which might be good enough, but I think that you probably don't want that. Yeah, I think like the best defensive options that we have are just like, or low input is Broken Psyche, but that eats a momentum that we are wanting to try and save. And then the Decoy Duplicate, which again eats a momentum which we are trying to save. And so I'm not 100% positive what the right call is there.
Sometimes spending the momentum on defense can mean that you don't find lethal in the turn afterwards.
Correct.
Which isn't great.
Yeah. What's our blocks look like? Yeah, but I think I'm down to take out this quick burn for double trouble. I think that is going to be huge, especially with like the amount of like redraw is like super good. And then things like Cape of No Return just negates an attack. Genkai's Guidance negates an attack as long as you're down to whatever. And Genkai's Guidance in conjunction with Struggling with Studies sometimes is negate like 2 attacks. So even like putting just like 1 copy of each of these in here is not bad. But it does eat into like, we probably shouldn't have Cremation then, right? Cremation probably shouldn't exist if we're going to play Genkai's Guidance. Or maybe we do like 1 and 1. Maybe Cape goes into the sideboard for whenever we're going second, so that on turn 2 we play out on 1B they play out their moves on 1A, we play out our moves on 1B, including Cape. On 2A we don't get just yeeted into the sun, and that saves us a slot, right? It's like swap out Cape for Cremation maybe, because we don't lose the 2 health or whatever.
The thing I like about Cremation is the potential momentum pump, plus the lose 2 health isn't really a cost in Edge, right? Because you always just heal it back.
Yeah.
There's also probably other ways to get that momentum than Cremation.
Well, I'm gonna sit here and try and put in for protecting Yukina in the deck. as a in your stage, I'm gonna destroy and just get this momentum.
Yeah. So probably leaving how then.
Yeah. 67. I gotta get this down as low as it can be. And the cool thing about this is that this helps shore up our block zones because it's an omni block.
Yeah.
And we get to cut this card. When I look at my block zones, I gotta cut some mids. So it might even be like, maybe it's one copy of protecting, one copy of breakdancing, question mark?
Not sure about that one.
62. I'm just trying to find room to see how close to 60 I can make. Because like the thing about breakdancing is how often do you want 2 copies of it on board? How often do you want 2 copies of it on board? I get that we
Usually.
rabbit kick it, and I get that we bright future it. The only reason to be running 4 of it is to have more than 1 copy. If we run 3 of it, the likelihood of us seeing it is still exceptionally high.
That makes sense, because usually when you build like 2, it doesn't do anything. And
Correct.
sometimes when you have all the rest of your pieces, the 1 copy doesn't even do anything anymore. That's the
Correct.
issue I have with number 5 Pro Hero.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, we could take number 5 and drop it down to a 2 of as well, right?
Yeah.
And there's just more of a cut. I wish we could have more low blocks. Struggling at the 4 of. Do you have any copies of Chivalrous? Oh, it's there right there. Just kidding. Tee, I'm funny. Let me go look at low blocks. Low block foundation, go. I mean, it might just be averse to water. Like it could just be 2 copies of that and probably feel fine.
Yeah.
Is commit for minus speed.
Good for the
Yeah.
stats.
Yeah, I'm down for it. It's just 2 copies of adverse. And then that's just what we live with. 63 cards with 20 attacks. 7-hander that gets to draw cards off of Bright Future. And you're way more likely to find kill turns because of these 4 double troubles than ever before. Truthfully. This enhanced discard a card, redraw a card is going to be very, very strong. I promise.
Definitely.
Yeah. And just being
That's
like Blue Flame Palm Strike, double trouble. Like this is 5 damage, 7 damage, 7 damage. It's 14, 19 damage on turn 2 that you just got to do for free. Cycled out 2 cards and only played 2 cards out of your hand. Yeah, so 19 damage with 5 cards left. And then if you happen to like play you play Rabbit Kick or whatever, right? Or we'll say Assault Dust, right? You can Bright Future the double trouble out and you're still back on progressive.
Yeah.
Any amount of protecting Yukinas that you built on turn 1 also like gets to pop off.
100%.
Yeah. You came to me with a very focused aggro deck. And I think that this is probably what I would be testing. If you feel like you're missing the breakdancing at all, maybe we could take the Incredible Display and drop it down to a 1 of and just sideboard the second one and put breakdancing back up to a 4 of. But I would test with the 3 breakdancing first just to see if you even need that card, you know?
I'm going to try it out.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the link. And you have a good rest of your night, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome.